you're welcome back. So now we'll go straight into the second module, responsibility and career choice making. We started by looking at taking responsibility, when it comes to our successes, our failures in life. Yes, we have to hold ourselves responsible, and we have asked ourselves, we looked at the definition, and we defined it as that obligation tied to you having to deliver on a task or assignment given to you. Then we asked ourselves by who? But in this particular case, by ourselves. The life triggers around us. I'm just trying to give us, a bit of a recap. The life triggers forced us into looking at our present career, asking ourselves if we have to remain along the line of that career, or we have to move on to something else, or along the line of our present businesses, or we have to change and start something else. Now we want to look at, taking responsibility when it comes to career choice making. Right? Career choice making. Now, I'm trying to have like a flashback now. During the days of your primary school, secondary school, when you're having career talk and you have a medical doctor come around to talk to everybody, and from there some of us will say, oh, I want to be like this person. I want to be a medical doctor. Or I want to be a lawyer. Oh, I want to be an accountant, because you have that opportunity of listening to one of them. But then it's far, far beyond that. There are several things you have to look at. The job opportunities, the storyline around what you need to do to succeed, how long it will take for you to succeed along the line of a particular journey when it comes to career path. Okay. Whatever we talk about here, we can apply it to business as well. I told us something that for me, I can't see the difference between career, being a professional career person, and being an entrepreneur. The only difference I can figure out is you are doing one for someone. The other one, you are doing it for yourself. And when you're doing it for someone, resume 7, you have to resume 7. When you are doing it for yourself, resume 7. Your 7 can become 8. And sometimes you can resume 6 in the morning. So it depends on which side of the pendulum, So now let us look at these two definitions. A person who organizes, operates, and assumes the risk for a business venture. This is who we call an entrepreneur. So a career is a job or profession that someone does for a long period of their life. Career path. So is this guy not doing this for a long period of his life? The only difference here is that this guy is ready to take that risk. You say, okay, I want to be responsible for this. I want to be responsible for that. If I fail, I know that I'm the cause. If I succeed, because that is what comes with risk taking. Interestingly, this also has got that part of it. When you lose your job, when you get a new job, retaining your job. It's like when you lose out on the business stuff, or when you lose out on a job prospect, or you are just on one position for a long time, no promotion, nothing, and the fear of the unknown is not allowing you to step up your game to say, okay, let me even go search for something else. Unfortunately, the situation in town now is forcing a whole lot of people to go into entrepreneuring, even if they are not, they see themselves as not being core entrepreneurs. So triggers, forcing them to go into entrepreneuring. So if you look at these two, so what's the difference? If we look at it and say this guy takes risk, this guy is also taking the risk. The risk of retaining that job, the risk of losing the job, the risk of growing along the line of that career path. Okay, like the question one of us asked, when you are a leader or a team leader or manager and you still feel this restriction around what you think you should be able to do, you're not feeling fulfilled. And somehow it affects you. And you can't kill it. That feeling will keep coming up inside of you. So it's a risk. Oh, but why not leave the job? Where are you going to? Is that you start searching for another one? And by the time you look at what the present one is taking off you in terms of time, energy, you are even worn out. You can't even put yourself out there in the job market. So you are looking for something else. What about the need for development, career-wise, that comes with this? Because when you go for job interview and you say, okay, I've been on this job for XYZ number of years, I'm earning A, now I want to earn B. So they'll ask you, what is the justification? Is it tied to the fact that you've just spent some years doing this somewhere, or you've added some academic qualification, which we can say is theoretical? They will mess things up for you. And you are asking yourself, where do you belong to? Does that mean being a professional career person is not it? Oh, it is. For those that are called to do that. And that is why that decision is a personal decision. And that's, like I told us when we started, don't approach these discussions with a rigid mindset. It is not bad to have gotten yourself on the wrong lane. But it is more than bad, worst, I don't know the right word, if you stay there after realizing that this is actually the wrong lane for me. Oh, I'm an accountant, and it's not working out for me. And maybe what is working out for me is I do gigs by the side. Like we have one comedian that is a banker. In the day, during the daytime, he's a banker. At night, he's a comedian. So if being a comedian is paying his bills more than being a banker, so why not sit down and talk, have that international conference within you, yourself, and you alone, you know, and decide on which way to go. So, but then we have to just look at it and realize that the two of them are the same. The two of them will come with their risk factors and elements, so we need to ask ourselves, am I on the right path? If we fail to ask ourselves, we continue to patch up, the triggers will continue to build strength. They will continue to build strength as the need increases in shapes, forms, sizes. The triggers will continue to build strength. And that is why some of us will now allow fear to set in. We'll now be living like a percentage of what we ought to be. You're supposed to be 100%, but you're like 50%. And you know within yourself. Don't forget, the trigger has already built more strength. Now you have the fear adjoined. And because of the fear element, it is now worsening the whole situation for one. So we need to look at it, choice making. What you are doing as a career professional is not different from what that entrepreneur is doing. It's just that someone is doing it for someone and someone is doing it for him or herself. Like our physiotherapy friend here can decide to go the way of running spa up and down. And you had a bit of health-related stuff to it. Am I right? So, he's still practicing. He's a trained physiotherapist. I'm not preaching entrepreneuring. Neither am I preaching professional career line. I'm just trying to let us know that whichever one we decide to go for requires adequate planning. Even if you work as a civil servant, if you don't have a plan around it, some people will join after you and they will write exams and they will leave you behind. Right? So it is very, very important we have this insight. And for me, what is very important here is let us approach this with the highest level of flexibility. Because you might just get out of here and you're just thinking that, okay, maybe I should add something else to what I'm doing. Maybe I should change what I'm doing. But because what you are doing now is paying your bills, so it must be planned. There must be that transition or, transitory period. Right? So it is very, very important we look at it the way we ought to look at it. All right, so let's look at some of these common attributes of both, either being an entrepreneur or being a career professional. Both of them require that you have visionary ability. You must be able to see how you get the picture the trigger showed you, how you actualize it. Oh, in 5 years, this is where I want to be. You must be visionary. It's your personal vision. These are the things that will determine what you're doing on daily basis. People around you might not really appreciate it. It is none of their business. It is your personal business. They might not see why you're doing what you're doing. It is your personal business. None of them will come and help you fill your words. None of them will help you pick up your bills. Then the need for training and retraining. And when we say training here, it doesn't mean you have to go back to school. COVID came and some people had to go to several online free courses. And at the end of that season, a whole lot of people came up with so many businesses. You understand? You go online, you learn A, you learn B, you start trying it, and before you say jack, things happening for people. Taking responsibility. There is a need, because that vision, that picture you have will place before you gaps that you have to fill. So you need to learn some things. You need to learn to work with people. Be it that you are running your business or you are working for someone. Don't forget the definition we looked at, the first definition. Direct and indirect responsibility. And indirect is where you have to take responsibility for people around you so that your own goals will be achieved. It is very, very important for us to pay attention to that. Without people management, in fact, at the family level, there is politics. And without people management skills, you cannot survive, healthy discussions. Everything will just get out of hand, and you start having issues. Discipline. If you look at that word discipline, I added to it taking responsibility. The example I gave us the other time, the 7 or 9 to 5 demands that you get to work 9, and you are there till 5. That's when you're doing it for someone. If you transit from that point, and you cannot maintain that discipline when you're doing it in fact, when you're doing it for yourself, you need to start resuming 7 and not 9. So if discipline is not there, it's going to be a very, very funny game. Because you'll just be looking at your aspirations. You'll just be looking at the aspirations, but it will be tough, to achieve the goals you set before yourself. So whatever you decide to go for, whichever out of these two, or whichever where you find yourself, anywhere you find yourself right now, you need to apply these things to your present situation. Am I on the right track? Okay, I'm on the right track. Am I supposed to be here? Or am I supposed to have gone beyond this point? Okay, if I'm supposed to be where I am, so how do I get better? If not, why? What is it that is keeping me here? These are practical questions that we need to ask ourselves. When you have National Assembly, only you have National Assembly. It's your personal matter. Just use your pen and paper and, and you are jotting points down. Very, very important we look at all of these points here, right? Now, this is the last slide with regards to this particular model. Let us look at the fact that you want to pick a career, or you are reviewing your present career, or you are looking at the prospect around your present career, or you want to pick a line of business, or you are reviewing your present business line, or you are looking at the prospect. These are some of the things you have to consider. Let's look at the business part first. What are the issues around that gets at you? Things you feel shouldn't be in a particular way. They might actually be things that, can generate income for you if you can solve such problems. I don't know if I'm communicating. You're seeing some things around and you feel this is not supposed to be like this, and you can make it right. making it right can become a business for you. This might apply to those of us that don't even have any business yet, but we are thinking of starting something. I've met someone that went into tailoring because she felt that the way they do the finishing of clothes, as far as she was concerned then, she doesn't like the level of finishing. And by the time you engage her more and more, you realize that she's not even talking about the parts you see. She's saying that when you pull up your shirt sometimes, the finishing inside can be irritating. Imagine someone looking at that part of a cloth, not the one you and I see. And she calls that finishing. Now, we can ask ourselves, does it mean that she will have customers? For sure, she will have customers. It's just that it will be important for her to sit down and ask ourselves, who are these customers? Where are they? And she'll be able to go out and look for them. Right? So there are several things we can pick from what is happening around us. And as we pick these points, if there are points we can provide solutions to, there are things, they are signaling to us that, hey, this can be a business for you. This can be a business for you. This can be a business for you. You live in an environment, and there is no Loma team operating. It's a business opportunity. It's a business opportunity. You just have to think through how to get that done. And for you to observe that and it's irritating you, you derive joy doing it. I don't know if I'm making sense. Because what would have led you to say, why is this area like this? It's because you can't stand it. So it's a problem around. And opportunities will always come in form of problems. Opportunities won't come and tell you, I'm an opportunity for you to become a billionaire. They will come as problems. Your personality. Who are you? Opportunities might just be around you, but some of them might not fit into your person. If they don't fit into your person, you'll be frustrated trying to get things done around that. Like I remember telling myself that if I should work as a banker, I'll either end up in jail because the rate or the way my brain, jumps around with ideas, I'll just go and overpay people. And I'm sure I won't do it just once. I'll just be doing it. You go and sign left when you're supposed to sign right. Bank, it is not anybody's money. It's customers' money. So I know that I can't survive that. Who are you? I know I can't survive that. So that which I can survive, I'll play around and make the best of. So it's very, very important to define yourself. In defining yourself, you know what you need to do to help you to get started, be it a career path. Okay, like I've been using accounting as a case study. Your friends, your fellow graduates in school are progressing. What are they doing? Maybe if they've done their own ICANN, they've done ACCA, you've not done anything, you're only claiming that you have 15 years experience. So you need to understand what is it that brings importance to a particular career position or slot. If you're in an industry and you are aiming to become the managing director in an industry, then you should go and do your research. Who are those that usually get to that level in such industry? There are some industries that people that get to that level are marketers. They are not technical people. There are some industries like that. So no matter how technically knowledgeable you are, you might not get there. You might just end up as chief technical officer or chief this or chief that or deputy this, deputy that. But because marketers bring money, I'm not saying it applies in all industries. But there are some. You see marketers rising, if not for regulatory purposes. The rate at which marketers rise in organizations, So you need to research the organization or the industry you find yourself. Who are those that get to the top of the ladder? Your desire is to get to the top of the ladder. So what do you need to do? What do you need to learn? Right? Happenings around your environment. you have to pay attention to happenings around your environment. Like we had a discussion about convincing people to buy what they ought to buy, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there is a mind shift, or, happening around. And because of something, if you are not in alignment with happenings around you, you will not be able to connect and take advantage of situations when they come, like that. Be it along the line of your career line or along the line of your business. So at this point, I think I want to take a little break. Then we'll come back and we'll take questions again. We get a bit interactive again, right? Thank you for your audience and all of that. Thank you. All right, so welcome back. Question time. I think we should just do it the way we did it the last time. So I have a few questions also. Which of the definitions describe you? I gave 2 definitions the other time. The guy that will sit down and take that risk that, okay, I'm responsible for this. And the guy that will just dedicate his lifetime to something. Both of them are going somewhere actually, right? So do we have anyone here that wants to attempt this? I think everybody can actually talk about this. Okay.
So I disagree that they are one and the same thing. Because whilst the entrepreneur is in a career, he's doing much more than what just a career person will be doing. Because you're building a career, but you're also building a business. And business, there's naira and kobo that is at the heart of it. You know, you must make a profit, not just for yourself or the people that you're probably employing or whatever it is, but there's also managing several other factors that comes with running a business, especially in an environment like this. But if you're in a career and in your career there's a corporate policy body that manages all those issues, you don't have to worry about all those issues. You're just worried about your specifications, your job specifications. But you know, that differentiation for me is really what I think is important in discussing about career entrepreneurship responsibilities. Responsibilities are very different. Because I have a job specification, I have to do the job. But in an entrepreneurial environment, you still have a job specification, but you still have to deal with vendors, business issues, lights, power, staff, money, losses. Too many things that can easily derail, you know, your personal needs and also your business needs.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And like I said, it's Timeout with DB actually. And because it's Timeout with DB, so we'll discuss issues. Like she also made her own points the other time, you know. So from what you're saying now, I just want to pick a point. You are yet to address the question, so we'll still go back to that. Now, so are we saying that like a career is a subset of entrepreneuring? Because you have several other people doing other things, right? But do you think the mindset required for success along these 2 journeys differ?
I think there will be differences. So
okay.
You mentioned, I think the last questions were also very close to this. If you're taking responsibility for yourself and your decisions, then when you're taking responsibility for even the people you have employed. You know, sometimes there are some decisions you can't make as an entrepreneur because you're looking at how do I pay salaries? But as a career, it's just you, yourself, and yourself alone. Your career growth, how you manage office politics, how do you manage your success as an individual. You know, unlike when you have to take responsibility for the business success, you know, regulatory
direct and indirect responsibility.
Thank you. Too many responsibilities that you now have to put into it. It cannot be only about your needs again. Especially if you're employing. If you're not employing and you're just a one-man riot squad, it might be a bit easier.
Just like you have an accountant that hires a driver for himself, so he's employing too anyway. So don't mind me, I'm just pulling your legs. Thank you for that response. Do we have any other reaction to what he said, or someone reacting to any of the questions here? Okay, okay. So our time is fast spent. I want to say thank you for contributions, patience, and all of that. It's still time out with DB.